Okay, guys, we're ready to start. As you can see on your agenda item there, let's start off with prayer. You'll all rise and so we can pray. Dear Father in heaven, first and foremost, we invite you to all things, because wherever we go, Lord Father, we don't want to be there unless you're there first. We love you, Lord. We love what you did on the cross. So thankful. We pray for this meeting today, Lord Father, that it can administer understanding, Lord Father, in all avenues. We're so thankful for our speaker tonight, for Rich. Pray that you give him the wisdom and the knowledge, Lord Father. I thank you for all things. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen. Amen. So now we're going to say the pledge. Mr. Jesse, if you can lead those. We'll do the American flag first and then the Texas.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. Y'all can be seated now. So before we get started, I received a phone call this morning, and we need to address something that is pretty imminent, and I wanted my good friend Jenna May to come step up and kind of give a brief description of what is at hand. This area of the night has absolutely nothing to do with Rich. This is something that just came up this morning. So, Ms. Jenna May, if you'll come to the front and explain what we're needing to do.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
How about those Rangers?
Oh, those are.
Well, let's go Astros.
Thank you, Alex. So I'm Jana May. I am the immediate past president of High Plains Republican Women. And a little over 2 years ago, I was in Lubbock and met, I wasn't in Lubbock for this purpose, but I met the people that were leading the charge in Lubbock to have Lubbock become a sanctuary city for the unborn. And I just felt like God was telling me to bring it to Amarillo. So we've been trying to get this done since then. And we had all kinds of opposition from our former mayor and city council. And so when the new city council and everyone was campaigning, they all said that they would support this. So we finally have gotten it on the agenda for this Tuesday. And Mark Lee Dixon, who is the founder of Sanctuary Cities for the Unborn of Texas, and a lot of other pro-life dignitaries will be here Tuesday to speak at to the city council and go through the ordinance and what all it means. And let me tell you, it has far-reaching implications. This is going to go all the way to the Supreme Court, and I believe that Amarillo passing this ordinance, it helps give standing when it gets to the Supreme Court, and therefore helps our cause a lot. However, we are being met with tons of opposition. And I met with Don Tips today, and Don Tips has said that 40 to 50 to 1 emails they are getting from pro-abortion people that are against this, and they don't want to see it happen. And they will be at City Hall on Tuesday, believe you me. So what we're asking is we are trying to rally the pro-life people to be everyone that can possibly be at City Hall on Tuesday at 3 o'clock. And there will be public comment. You are more than welcome and encouraged to give your say on it if you so wish. But in the meantime, I brought these tonight. I would like for everyone, if you would, to take one of these and just send a simple email to the mayor and to the city council saying that you are in support of the ordinance, just so they feel like our side is, you know, that we really want this. So I am begging you, I put all of their email addresses in it. You can send one email to all of them. And just, it's a simple, we support the ordinance and the far-reaching complications that it has, or implications that it has, not just for Amarillo, but for the entire country. So I'm just asking you all to reach out to people you know, ask them to send an email before Tuesday, and then ask them and all of you that possibly can, please be there Tuesday at the city council meeting, and let's do what's right and what's morally right and what I know that our Father wants us to do. Thank you.
We're trying to get more information about this. Let's talk to you.
I'm the person. Yeah.
I like to investigate everything what we're on that.
I will tell you what, if you want to give me your email,
A list of emails, Jen, would be good, where you can send out that information that I got today.
yeah.
It'd be helpful for
I
somebody.
have the ordinance that I can email to you. I have the key points of the ordinance I can email to you. I have a letter that a bunch of our Congress people have signed off on in support of the part of the ordinance. So yes, let me, if you'll leave me your information, I will get that to you and anybody else. Okay? Okay, thank you.
You bet.
Jenna, if I may add one thing.
Yes.
I saw a flyer distributed around Lubbock. It's probably being distributed in New Mexico as well. Stating that, you know, it's from the opposition. The opposition that's going to be at City Hall. The opposition can y'all hear me on this?
Yes.
The opposition that's going to be coming to City Hall on Tuesday is going to be wearing green, much like ironically I'm wearing.
Yeah. Don't wear
Mark,
green.
yeah, don't wear green to the city council meeting because that is what the opposition has been asked to wear. Mark is asking anyone showing up in support to wear red.
Easy.
Or anything, but please don't wear green. So, and I was like, well, what does green have to do with it?
Yeah.
And they said, well, that shows solidarity with these people and the other countries around the world that support abortion.
So can we bring a spray paint?
Absolutely. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Jen.
Hey, please, let's all give Jenna applause. She's been working on this type of thing for as long as I can remember, and I'm glad we call her a friend. I need another agenda real quick.
This may be our only chance, so, yeah.
Okey
Can I
dokey.
ask a question real quick? This is the first I'm hearing of it. This is the first I'm hearing of it. How do we get the word out to everybody else in church? I mean, I'll let everybody know at church to email. I mean, but I think that they're more organized and prepared than we are if they would get 50 emails to one, because, and the problem is nobody knows. I mean, this first I've heard about it. I mean, how do we get the word out to everybody?
Well, I'll tell you, we just met with Cole on Monday night, and so it wasn't until late Monday night that we finally got the go-ahead to be there on Tuesday at the city council meeting.
3 o'clock.
Huh?
3 o'clock.
At 3:00. But I mean, it was late Monday night before we got the go-ahead from him that we could do it. So, yes,
It
you're
seems like
right.
Everybody here ought to be able to take the message back to the church. Trinity Fellowship, maybe there's some people here from Trinity and from different churches around town, so that people would be informed, maybe take this brochure that you have here and ask people to send an email here before next Tuesday.
That's what I just asked.
No, I know,
I'm
but
sending a
there's-
paper around.
Yeah.
so they can-
Okay. Yeah, yes, please. Y'all ask all your friends, your people, your neighbors at church, your neighbors in your neighborhood. I mean, it's a big deal, and we've tried for so long to get to this point, and so yeah, it's a big deal.
Could I legally post it on my neighborhood page?
Can you?
Yes,
As far as I'm concerned, you can.
freedom of speech.
We still live in a sort of free country, but yeah.
Do you have a petition to sign or send around?
Hey, Jenna, do you have a petition or anything? She was asking.
They did have a
There
petition.
is one online. Around tonight.
Where can they find the petition at?
You mean the ordinance?
No, the
Well, she's asking, is there a
petition
petition to be signed anywhere?
No.
Okay.
There is one online. I just sent one online. I can send it to you.
Well, there is, well, maybe, I
Well,
don't
what we
know.
can do is, Jenna will share the information, we'll have it on our website, conservativetexas.org, as well as other places, and I'll make sure I get it out to the group and also to our church as well, okay? So let's take a look at the agenda here so we can have some order here tonight. Smart cities, the details Q&A with Assistant City Manager Rick Gagnon. So this is how it's going to be set up. It's a 10-minute. Rich Gagnon is going to do an opening. He's going to kind of tell you a little bit about himself or anything that he can explain in this arena, if he will, because I think what happened, Rich, was there was something posted on social media that put us on a list. So if you can kind of go over that, why we were even on that list, things of that nature. And here's the Q&A format. It is here as follows. And please show courtesy to our guests. We are to adhere to a position of respect at all times. So thank you for that. I know you guys are going to do that for sure. So here's the 1:30 and the 1. Okay, so after he's finished, for anyone that has a question, I would kindly ask you guys to step up here so you can kind of be in front of the laptop there, state your name, what your question is. If you don't want to do that, that's okay. You don't have to do that. You can stay where you're at. You'll ask your question, and then Mr. Gagnon will have 1 minute to respond to that, okay? And then you will have a follow-up question. If there's something that he said that you want to follow up, you want more clarification, then he'll have an additional minute to respond to that, okay? So we will need to flow as efficiently as possible to field as many questions as possible. Please keep with the discussion matter as best can. We're not here to make statements concerning other matters. We are here to learn and gather information pertaining to the issues at hand, with the exception of, we just went over it, of course. Then Misty Vigil, she's going to come up and speak about a petition concerning the matter. Any questions that were not fielded, please do not be discouraged. Email us at elisa_pardo@usermail.com. She is our secretary, or galver@hotmail.com. That's mine. Put on the subject line Q&A, smart cities. We will get them to Rich Gagnon and forward responses as soon as possible. And I can tell you, in knowing Rich in the short time, I met him over a phone call. There was an issue, and I can assure you, he is leaning forward and wanting to be transparent in all areas. And I was very pleased with our initial contact. What was that, about 4 months ago, 4 months ago? So I was well pleased. And I can tell you, not a lot of people are going to do what he's doing tonight either. I mean, he didn't even think twice. He said, sure, we're at, let's go. And it took all of maybe a minute. So I think he's going to do great. Please visit us at conservativetexas.org. You can find us on YouTube and Facebook. And here's the important part. Please consider joining us on our Teams in Action group. We cover Amarillo Independent School District, Amarillo College, local city, state and federal, and what those teams consist of. We go out and do all the legwork, where all of us that are out there in the general life setting, when you can't, we do our best to stand in the gap, get the information, provide it to you, and then have things like this. And so if you guys would like to join in any one of these areas, please reach out to us. There's strength in numbers, but The most important thing is there's strength in not getting fatigued and getting the right information to the people, because we certainly don't want to get the wrong information. We want to be fair in all aspects, because we want to ally with whoever it is in these groupings. One hand washes the other, right? And so we would love for that to take place. We're not here to be, a thorn in anyone's side by any means. I would rather work with people than, work against or anything of that nature. I will tell you, we have a guest tonight, Kyle. I hope you don't mind me mentioning you. If you'll stand for a second. His name is Kyle Bramlett.
Hi,
He's-
everybody.
We're having an event next month here at this location, just next door in the
This
sanctuary.
one right here.
All the information is in your seat. It's election integrity. And if you have any questions, he's the guy to go to on that. So we would love for you guys to share that information and get back out. It's going to be next month, the third Thursday meeting for that. So without further ado, if you will all join me in giving Mr. Gagnon a hand and applause. Thank you, gentlemen. So much. All right.
Rich is fine.
Yes, sir.
This is Rich. So I should probably start out with telling you guys a couple of things about me, because it'll give you a clear vision of what my perspective is. First and foremost, I'm a United States Marine. So when I say personal freedom is important to me, that's not lip service. I was and still am willing to fight and die to preserve that for my children and my grandchildren. And that applies to all things, technology and otherwise. Second, I spent 12 years in youth ministry. I have planted 2 churches, and I've been on 3 different pastors' councils. I know the Bible. Third, I'm not a government guy. That's not my background. I actually started out in private sector. I started at the bottom, climbing poles and hanging wire.
There you go.
And better.
Yeah.
And then moved up from that to eventually be the director of global infrastructure for GameStop. Probably somebody all your grandkids and kids love. And then into the biggest data center company in the world. I ran global engineering for them, and then over to the biggest cybersecurity company in the world. So I ran all of engineering. So I know cybersecurity, and I know the risks that are associated with technology. Technology is a tool. It's neither good nor bad, no different than a gun or a car or anything else. It can be used for both, and you have to be aware of that. But that'll give you a little insight about why I feel the way I do about certain things when it comes to this topic. Smart city in its simplest terms is the use of sensors to make, for a city to gather data to make decisions. Now, at the most basic, innocent level, that could be moisture sensors in park grass to set off a sprinkling system, right? If the moisture level gets down to less than 10%, then we water. We don't water every day, and that saves money. But I've also traveled the globe, and I've seen the other side of that. I've actually been to China, where you're on camera everywhere you go, using facial recognition, and it can be used for ill. Not just by governments, but also you have to think about where that data is stored, who's collecting that data. And private companies, we all get an update on our phones, and we have to hit that little accept button. We are accepting all of their terms in order to upgrade your phone. So we at the city, I can profoundly tell you, we don't have a smart city agenda. What we're driving is, we're actually working with a few cities that are starting to push back, and we're driving something called a digital privacy agenda. So I will be actually in front of council, not this council, but probably the next one, presenting what we call a digital rights agenda. And what that comes down to is a few things. One is transparency. I was willing to come here on a moment's notice because I believe in conversational government. Trust in local government's at an all-time low, and with good reason. So we're trying to restructure things so that we are doing this, and we are having open conversations, to the point that I've now restructured the communications team into, it's really 4 groups that are all housed together. Our project management team, our engagement and innovation teams, which used to be communication. The communication in the past was we put out press releases and tell you what we did. We're not operating that way, particularly with technology projects. Now what we're trying to do is, when we start a technology project, that's going to be managed in that office, but we immediately kick off an engagement with the public to invite you in. Because the way that you stop overreach by government is through transparency and openness. So I'll give you an example. It's important to do it because you can't solve problems in isolation in city. I'll give you a simple one, like illegal dumping, right? We started inviting neighborhoods in to talk to us about how to address illegal dumping. It turns out there's 6 different solutions to the problem. If we had just tried one, it would have worked in one place and not in 5 others. In some areas, it's because we have a lot of rentals and we need to hold landlords accountable. In some areas, it's a cultural problem where we have people that are used to putting trash in the yard and we have to address it differently. So you take that and apply that to technology, and we're trying to do the exact same thing. We're trying to engage with public and be transparent, but even more than that, now we're starting to change our purchasing process so that we're asking the right questions of our vendors, like what data are you collecting? Where is it being stored? Do you have the right to release that? And making that a purchasing criteria when we buy technology, because it's our job to protect our residents. We're also starting education around not just digital literacy, but we're starting to put together materials to put out to our residents on what does AI mean? Like, what do you need to think about when it comes to AI? Because it's coming, whether we like it or not, it's coming. It's here. You're probably using it. You probably used it 3 or 4 times today and had no idea that you were using it. So my position is very strong on this. Are we going to use technology? Yes. We do not have a smart cities agenda. Bear in mind, however, the term smart cities has become a marketing term, almost like organic in the grocery store. If it's a technology that can be used by cities, they're going to slap a smart city label on it because they feel like that sells technology. So what you probably saw, and I think what popped up is it was a conference called Smart Cities Connect. And what it really was, it's a bunch of vendors selling technology to cities. That's all it is. You go, they talk about what their tech is, and we did use one. We used it for trash. It's a tablet that a driver puts in his truck, and it has GPS location on it. And what it does is it tracks where that driver's going. It knows the route. It can tell when he stops next to a dumpster, so it marks that dumpster as picked up. They can see, like, we had an F-150 blocking a dumpster. So if they immediately took a picture of that, opened the ticket back with dispatch, hey, I can't get this dumpster because there's a truck there. And wouldn't you know it, we got a call like 2 hours later saying, hey, you didn't pick up this dumpster. And we said, hey, there was an F-150, and the guy said, is it white? And we're like, yep, it was white. It was his truck. So the same guy that blocked it called us. The other thing it lets us do is it knows where the drivers are in the routes. So if driver A is running his fixed route and he's just got a lot of load and it's taking him a long time, and driver B gets done, it reroutes driver B to pick it up. So in our first 2 months, we had 1,000 extra pickups that we got to because we were using technology to get that done. And we're estimating about 400 to 450,000 in gas savings this year. That's a good technology to use, but it's monitoring stuff, not people. So I think anytime that you start to cross that line from monitoring stuff to people, you have to be open, and that's a conversation that you have to have with the public. And that's really where I'm driving as the CIO. So I'm an assistant city manager, but I'm also the CIO of the city, which means all the technology is my fault. I'm responsible for it. I'm the guy that has to sign every year, making myself personally liable for cybersecurity. So I take it very seriously. I have a 30-year track record in this industry, and I'm not going to throw that away over silliness or bad decisions. I think that's about it. I guess I'll take questions and we'll go from there.
Let me tell the microphone. So, who has a question? Mr. Eloy?
Yeah, just,
Here you go, Mr. Eloy.
what's your title?
Assistant City Manager and CIO, which CIO just stands for Chief Information Officer. So that means I've got IT and all the technical groups.
Yeah, I didn't remember hearing it, but,
He's the boss of the gates.
I'm
King
talking
of the
about
nerds.
the smart meters they're installing in their homes now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they came by my house. And I found them, was trying to get into my meter. I said, what are you doing? Oh, we're going to put a smart meter. I said, I don't want it.
Okay.
I said, we got to put it in. But you have to call the office and talk to them, and there will be a fee to take it out. And, they couldn't do it because there was a lock on the meter, so they're gonna have to bring the center tech to come and take that lock off to put the meter.
But you're still gonna charge us?
I guess they're gonna charge us. Okay, you know, just turn off the mic.
No, I didn't turn it on.
It's on? Oh, okay. So,
Better still.
hey,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay, I'm gonna read this off here. My name's Tyrone. Is that on?
It's not on. I don't know what's wrong.
Better
Yeah.
still.
My name's Tyrone Salvato, and I'm a concerned citizen too. I'm gonna read this off here.
Sure.
The Smart Cities Connect is what I got it says it matches the World Economic Forum's agenda perfectly. I know their agenda, whatever it is, it's not good.
Sure.
Their list of cities participating is very large and contains WES targeted cities. And also got a question on, the federal government, do they have anything to do with the new bus terminal being built in Amarillo?
I think there's federal funds that were used for it, but I'll have to clarify it with the transit manager, but they didn't actually design or push that. That actually came from transit.
Says, it will be built to smart city specifications. Let's see what else.
What does that even mean? Like, where did you see that? Because I'd like to read that.
A buddy of mine from Florida told me all the
Okay.
stuff that he's all, I didn't know this stuff. He knows a lot more than me. But the last thing really doesn't have to do with smart cities, but it says Amarillo is an illegal alien placement town. You know anything about that?
No,
Really?
like illegal alien placement. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it says there's brand new rental units being built.
No,
I don't know anything about that.
I don't, but I'll follow up on all these. I have,
Catholic Family Services would be,
Well, I know they run a lot.
who would be the people to ask about that probably.
I would think the city would know something about it.
How much of this stuff is tied into the C40 groups?
as far as the city, none of what we do is
Because
tied.
Ginger Nelson used to belong to C40.
I'm not aware of that. If she was part of that, then I wasn't in the loop on that. But
That's part of the
I'm a guy that
smart
was-
city and the smart meters and all that. Basically, open air prison camps is what it is.
Hey, guys, if y'all can raise y'all's hand and then I'll get to you. And that'll we can have.
well, our systems are self-contained, so and there's lots of reasons for that. I don't want to share my data with anyone. I don't personally, because I'm the guy that has to keep it protected, and protecting it is expensive and it's hard. So I don't even let within the city, for example, your water bill accounts. None of staff in the water department knows your credit card numbers. Those are at the bank. No one outside of the water department can access any of the water systems. It's divided down to, we actually define roles within our technology, and only a role with permission can even get into a system. There's no way that I'm willingly, I'll resign before I start letting other agencies connect into our systems, because there's no way I can do my job if that happens.
Thank you, sir.
So who made the decision on these smart meters? I mean, I got a thing in the mail today that you can call a number if you don't want it. And there's a fee associated, like he was talking about. Who made the decision? Who's responsible there?
Previous council
Okay,
made that decision. And you guys, what's that? You have to take that up with council. And I'm gonna be totally transparent with y'all. I'm the least political person you ever wanted to meet. Like, that's not my job. Our job as staff, council asks for things from us. What do you think we should do about X? Our job is to generate all of the possible answers to that question, whether we like them or not, and then give a recommendation. And then they make a decision, and now our job is to make them right, to do our best to execute as we're required to. They're the board, they make the calls.
Okay, I have a question.
Sure.
Actually, two questions. The first one, I have been like playing with an AI program and stuff that he's got me to play with. I do agree that we do need some things. We have to go with the future, everything's coming in. But what's it gonna do to the job force? Like, if we have AI running these things, what about the people that need employment? I mean, are y'all gonna put them somewhere else and tell them to go work at Walmart where there's self-checkouts? I mean,
But ironically, I think the biggest impact, and all the predictions are the biggest impact for AI is going to be like low-level professional workers, entry-level professional workers. And what I, honestly, my opinion is those that know how to use AI are going to replace those that don't. You're not going to see, like, AI is never going to repair a street. It's just not, right? But what you'll see is you'll start to see things where that AI will help build productivity for administrative workers because it makes getting answers faster. It makes producing content faster. But I also have pretty strong opinions on that. So yes, AI is coming. There's a lot of discussion as to whether or not that AI should be slowed down. I can see the argument for why it should, but it's not going to be because at a national level, the United States doesn't want to slow down because if we do, then Japan and China and the other countries are going to leave us behind. But even within our country, I sat on a panel and was listening to the head of AI for Microsoft and for Google and others discuss. They won't slow down because of each other. They all feel like if we slow this down, we're going to lose the market to someone else. So good, bad, or otherwise, it's going full speed forward.
I have one more for
Sure.
you. Okay, if we do go to AI and a lot of things, are ran by AI, are we prepared for what happens if we go to war and something's blown up and all the electricity's gone and like we're in an apocalyptic situation?
Once we go to AI, if those fail, what do we have in the back?
We already have that problem today. So I would submit to you, one of the drills that I'm having the city do this year is what I call it a ransomware exercise. But it's the same net effect. I mean, think about policing. Every car is connected. They're connected to policing systems. Their radios are all digital. Everything is technology today. It drives efficiency, but to your point, when electricity goes up, what do? So we actually have to, as a city, practice that. We have to go through those drills because unlike a business, for example, you lose power, you lose money, right? But you can shut your doors. The worse it is, the more important it is that public safety is on. So we've done some things to protect them, like public safety in particular. We have 2 data centers for them. So we have redundant systems for them, different power, generator backup, all the things we can do to keep the technology up. And we still have to drill. What if it all fails? Because they don't have a choice. If a tornado blows through town and wipes out everything, we still have to be on the street helping people. So your point's valid, and it's something we actually have to go through drills on and do exercises on. What do we do when there is no technology? I mean, I drive a 99 pickup because I don't want to mess with things that break, right? I can get under the hood and I've changed the motor once, I've changed transmission. So I see you have to think about those things too.
Okay, I had a question.
Sure.
So with this AI and rolling it out and everything, have you guys done any trial runs? I'm sure you have. What did that look like? Do you guys have a forward projection, say 10 years down the road, 5 years down the road? You're talking about how it's not going to take people's jobs per se, it can't go out there and repair a road, but it can take people's livelihood, call centers,
Sure.
taking payments. I mean, that's people who depend on that.
Sure.
There's a lot of, it's kind of an entry-level job, but it's a step up. So what about that?
Yeah, that's something that we actually talk about in the assistant city manager's office often, because one of the things we're looking at is an assistant on the website, for example, so that, technology is great, but not everyone's comfortable with it. Or not everyone, we have a lot of people that are still learning English. We have a lot of senior citizens that don't want to go search for things on our website. So we're adding some functionality where you can actually ask questions verbally and get taken to the page you need. I think there's a couple of things that you have to do. One, in Amarillo, Texas, you will always be able to dial a number and get a person. And that's as long as I'm here, because sometimes I want to dial a number and get a person. I don't want to talk to technology. Yes, exactly. Or get the call tree, that just drives me crazy. We have live people that answer the phone, and that will always be the case. So, but if you need an expedient answer, like, what's going on at the library today, it would be convenient to be able to ask to be able to ask technology and get a quick answer on that. I don't know that it's going to replace entire call centers yet, but I could see a future where that happens, and I think that's something we have to plan for. The technology is not quite there yet, but it's moving so fast, it's something that we do talk about. Even with, as you guys probably know, the library had a drawdown on budget. There were other places to put folks, so you have to plan ahead when you start thinking staffing like that, to your point.
Yes. Hi.
Hi.
My name's Phyllis.
Hi, fellas.
Okay, first off, the meter, the smart meter that they're putting out, okay. We're being charged to have that meter an extra $16 a month.
No, what they're doing, and I'm gonna go vet this, it's not a charge for the meter, but they will charge extra if you opt not to have the meter.
We're being forced to deal with, we're being forced to deal with AI whether we want to or not, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay, that's wrong.
Yep.
That's completely wrong.
I-
And yes, there are gonna be people who lose their jobs, and y'all not gonna do nothing for those people.
That's
So
not
that's
true.
gonna
All
put
the
a lot
meter
more
readers
homeless
actually, no
people
meter
in the
readers
street.
no meter readers got let go. They all got other jobs within the city, not a single one. Because that was planned. As soon as council said, hey, we're gonna do this, the water department started planning and reassigned those people. That I do know.
So why are you charging us for not having AI?
For not
Those
having
meters.
the smart meters,
Yes.
because they're gonna pay readers to go read them.
But you
But
charge us
Right.
anyway.
You're already being paid.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
yeah.
I would take that.
Okay, what you're saying,
saying.
exactly, what you're saying is, these people will not have those jobs unless we take, if we take the meter, we're taking their job, and if we don't take the meter, we're keeping their job for those people.
No, those people have already been assigned other positions there, but they held some of those positions open and kept them in meter readers.
But
because
you're
they're-
already computerized, everything's still being read already at your office, y'all have to come out.
No, they do. They have to go to every single meter and lift the lid and read the
And we
readout.
appreciate that, seriously, we
Yeah.
do, because those people need the job. I don't believe what you're saying. Seriously, I don't, I really don't. These people are gonna be unemployed and they're gonna be out robbing other folks.
Yep.
Because they're not gonna have any way to get past it.
Y'all
Y'all
got
can
the
push all
radiation
this
those
stuff
meters
in us.
around.
I'm not pushing,
But
I'm-
AI is getting ready to replace everything in our rights, and you're gonna tell me I can pay if I don't want that mess in my house.
I would take that to council. That was a council decision to put the
Well, when did
meters in.
they ask
The
us?
last
Which council?
Last-
Previous-
Nelson?
Previous council.
Okay, well, that's not the current.
Yeah.
Wait, who's
Yeah. Hold on, guys, it's got to be another question.
Good point.
You're
Oh, man, I'm sorry, you're after her.
You're
Go ahead,
sorry.
ma'am.
My bad.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm quiet.
I'm old school, obviously. For one thing, I'm gonna go ahead and state my opinion on charging people for something that, to me, that seems like right now.
Yep.
I'm sorry, it just, we're not gonna, I mean, and it sounds like there's no clear way that we can really call in and say, I've decided not to opt out of this. And, they'll just come and do it, and then you gotta change the meter, and then if you change the meter, that's an extra charge. Now, that's what I'm hearing.
I'll find out, like, water's not mine, I'll find out for sure and get that to you, George, on what the process is, or if you can call ahead and tell them you don't want it changed, and
And I
I'll get
have
all the
several
details.
questions too. Okay, I'm so sorry.
No.
Okay, it's in the middle of the night, and my mother, and I know she's already dead, but, this is an incident. Goes to the bathroom, and she sits on the commode, and the little screw in behind the commode busts, and I've got water running in my bathroom, so I run out to the meter and I cut it off. And I may not look like it, but I also know how to fix that little thing, and so I run back in there and I fix it. And then I go back out and I turn the meter back on, I mop up the water, and we're good to go. I didn't have to call the city, I didn't have to call the plumber, I didn't have to do nothing. In less than 30 minutes, I'm ready to go. Now, I'm older, so it might take me an hour and a half now. I'm talking when I was younger. Okay. So now, the way this sounds, the meter has to recognize that there's something flowing, and it'll cut off automatically. I don't know how much water that's gonna leave in my house before it cuts off automatically, but anyway,
Or I can call the city in the middle of the night and see if I can get them to cut it off. If I can get hold of someone, I understand you're planning on staying around, but there might be a time when you decide to move on.
Sure.
And I don't know, don't trust the next guy that comes in behind you. And, then back to the meter, I call the city, they cut off my water. Well, you have to get a plumber out there and get that thing fixed, or we'll cut it back on. These are my concerns. Now I've got to call a plumber, and I don't know if any of y'all have called a plumber lately, but it sure ain't cheap. It's not cheap at all, and it ain't gonna cost the $1.50 for the screw that I replaced or the nut. You know, and the older you are, the more you're concerned about your money. So I've got a lot of concerns about this, and I do not appreciate being charged extra for something I didn't want to begin with. That's right. And it's just not.
I'll try that back and I'll go find out too, because I'm not sure if the meters still have a shut off, but I'll verify that as well. I think they do, but I want to make absolutely certain of that before.
Have a shut off.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do, but I just want to know for a fact. I'll go look at one.
I wanna
make
know
sure
for
that
a
I'm right.
fact too.
No, they got shut off.
Are you writing everything down?
Well, it's being recorded.
Yeah, it's being recorded.
And just remember, guys, I want to say, I think some of us are getting confused with the electric meters and then the water meters. So
Yeah.
what you were talking about up there, man, was, the electric meters, and that's where they're charging the 16 if you opt out. Water meters, as far as the city, I haven't heard anything.
I don't know. I didn't think we were, but I'm gonna verify that. The electric meters we had nothing to do with. That's all Excel Energy. I don't own those. I don't control those. But I'll verify on the water meters to be sure.
All right, everybody. I want to make sure I formulate this question right. I've got two questions.
Okay.
First, you mentioned using the technology to save gasoline when picking up the trash. And then you said something very important and very key, which is this is something that watches things versus something that watches people. So would you say that that is your line in which technology goes too far? Or could it go beyond that into a public safety or public health sort of function?
It depends on which things too, because in some cities overseas, they're actually, the thing that they're watching as they're interfacing with cars. Right, and I think that line gets really fuzzy there because now I know what cars go where and when. So I think for me, when it becomes personally identifiable, I don't want data about you and what you do. I'm a big believer that personal privacy is fundamentally necessary to not just to freedom but to human dignity. So for me, the line is I don't want personally identifiable information about you. Knowing if a trash can is empty or full has no bearing on what we do on a daily basis. Or if the ground is dry and doesn't need to be watered, knowing where your car goes and where you drive, that's a whole different ballgame. So for me, it's about personally identifiable information.
Rich.
Hold on one second. Anthony has a follow-up. Hold on one second. Quick follow-up question. We've seen all sorts of failures in technology. Some failures people believe with voting machines, things like that. But one thing I often worry about is centralization, in which all the technology is connected to one central thing, and it all interacts with that central thing. And if that central thing goes down, the entire thing is sunk. So what was once a city that functioned analog in a decentralized manner is now a city that will completely shut down if one spark occurs in the wrong place.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think there's an additional concern that goes with that. It's why like all of our public safety is local. We're not hosting things in data centers that we don't own. It's local and it's redundant because I need to know that stays up. But just as importantly is centralization gives control, right? Local control is really important, and transparency, giving visibility to all of you on what we're doing with our technology is really important, because but you have a voice, right? If you know I'm doing a technology project and I tell you exactly what it is and what data, and
You go in there with me.
council makes that decision. Council makes that decision, and you drive council.
I have a question. I heard from a wise person that it's good to understand first and then be understood. As far as the smart meters for SPS, do you have any concerns about
Well, I guess there's two. Excel Energy is doing them, and I think Atlas is doing them as well. I don't know enough about them yet to answer that intelligently. I have some meetings coming up because I try to have meetings regularly with the other agencies. But initially, not initially, no.
My concern is like what Kyle was saying, that if it may be innocent right now, but if it got into the hands of the wrong person and you didn't bow to the right God,
Federal government.
they'll shut your electricity off.
That's my concern, and that's why I think local control is so important. Like, the minute you start hearing that there's gonna be state or federal oversight over smart meters, that's scary to me, because now I control your water, your gas, and your electricity. right?
So we are
That's-
getting smart water meters as well,
Yes,
or we already have them?
they're being rolled out. They're rolling out remote read meters for.
I didn't
for
even
water.
know that.
Yeah.
Well, on her question, the concern about meters, when they first come out, houses were burning down because of the meters. Something went haywire. They
Oh, for
burnt,
the electric meters?
yeah, they burnt houses down out in California with them things. Has that issue been fixed?
That, you'd have to ask Excel. I don't even know what meters they're using.
Right,
The
yeah.
next question I have is about 5G towers. Who owns the 5G towers in Amarillo?
All of the providers own them. So Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, the mobile providers own the towers. Now, the city used to have some control. The way it used to work is when a provider wanted to put up a tower, they had to go through the city to get permission. We've been stripped of all of that authority. So the state and the FCC, now we don't really get a choice. They can put towers in the right of way where they want.
And they can regulate them.
Yeah, no, that was done at the state and federal level. We even, I know that a lot of cities got together and fought that in the courts, but so far not one.
Yeah, I'm a Navy veteran, so, okay, yeah, I have a lot of questions about all this stuff. And I'd like to know when they have all these meetings to set up different things, why aren't we alerted so we can attend the meeting? Or at least go online and listen to the meetings, some, before they actually vote this stuff in. Like you said, these meters are already on their way. I didn't know that.
It was approved in council. Like it was voted on by city. Oh, I agree.
You know, how do they have the right to mess with our homes?
Yeah.
Like AT&T, when they came out there, they moved the fence in their yard. Okay, they leaned all over, they watched them out there for a week and a half, just doing whatever they wanted to with the fence. Okay, wanted to make sure they can get their little blocks up in there. I can call my mom.
Okay, so I know,
It's like,
I know for a fact,
They just doing these things.
I'm so sorry. I know for a fact that Ginger Nelson is the one that implemented the smart meters for the electricity and the water. What I want to know is did she receive funding for it? How much was it? And where did it come from?
Especially where it go.
For the water meters?
No, for the technology, to turn this city into a smart city she had to implement certain things to get certain funding. I want to know how much she received, and I want to know who she received it from.
The only thing I know and I can speak to is the money for the water meters came from the state. It was a 0% loan through the TWB, the water board. But all the other stuff, I don't know.
And the reason why I'm asking is because this is what I would say to every citizen, is that technology is great when it's in the hands of someone you can trust. And the reason why they implement it is so they can have more control. And when they are done with their job, there is a new person that steps into that place. And if you can't trust them, they will have control over the citizens. And that is what I would say needs to be really thought about before they implement these services.
Well, that's what the whole digital privacy agenda is about. Because I'm here and I'm not working past 60. I'm tired already. You know, I'm in my 50s and getting close to 60, and I know that my time is short. So the whole idea is to set those things in place so that those processes are in place, that we're transparent. And it's important that residents see exactly what we're doing so that you can come to council and you can make sure that your voice is heard and that we're going the right way.
As a holistic health coach, my utmost concern about these smart meters is the radiation. Not only is it going to affect the human, but it's also going to affect all the plants. And animals. My second concern is I filled an opt-out form. Number one, I shouldn't have to pay $166 to opt out of something. Number two, I also should not have to pay an extra $16 a month. And whenever the gentleman came out to install the opt-out meter, I did not receive any notification. He just showed up. And then whenever I asked him to go around to the alley, he acted like he was being put out. So I went on ahead and allowed him to come through my house, which upset my dog. The second gentleman came out a week later to read the meter. 1 week later, if even that. And so I asked him, can you please drive around? He was happy to. Okay, he drove around, I let him in, and he hooked up. I asked him, can you not read these over the fence like the other ones? And he said, no, ma'am, I can't. He hooked up what looked like a magnetic thing. It had a cord to it. It was like magnetized. He hooked that up to the meter. It had a cord going and then like a remote control.
To the water meter? Or
No.
To the electric.
Oh, okay. I was really confused. So like, that doesn't sound like I'm at all. Okay.
And he told me, he says, you might want to go do something else because this is going to take about 5 to 10 minutes. I chose to stand out there and talk to him. And I asked him if people were opting out, and he said a lot of people were opting out. And he said that him, as an employer, he didn't even understand why they were even doing it within the city. He said he did not see any reason why that they would do it within the city.
That's a gateway. That's all it is, gateway.
I can pass that over to Excel as well. I can send that over to Ronnie over there and get that feedback. If you don't mind, can I catch you afterwards?
Yeah.
Just, I'll get some details and get that over to them.
I can relate an experience of a precinct chair in Randall County. His elderly parents had a smart meter, and it was in the middle of the summer, and their air conditioning went off. And they were thinking about the smart meter being the cause of this, and he called the HVAC guy. They finally figured out it was the smart meter that had shut off their air conditioning. And, and I'm also concerned about the radiation. And if you do a little search on the internet, you can search fires caused by electrical surges in smart meters. Turns out, after about 7 or 8 years, there's a battery internal to the smart meter that no one, the homeowner cannot service that or reach it or change it out. And when that battery goes out, it's more susceptible to electrical surges that can cause a fire. And if you go to the Excel website, it says clearly they are not liable for anything having to do with electrical surges. So it's your homeowner's insurance that's going to, I guess they're figuring, well, everybody's got homeowner's insurance. You see, my point is that this is a level of complexity that just invites failure.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be that complicated. You know, it's a problem, it's a solution in search of a problem. There was no problem with the previous meter. Now we have something more complex that's more subject to failure. And so you can, I kind of dug into that a little bit. And so after 7 or 8 years, this internal battery, it fails. And then there's a surge and it causes a fire.
And does the water meters do the same thing?
Okay, so it's getting close to 8 o'clock, guys. I want to be conscious of your time. We're gonna leave it open for 2 more questions, okay? So gentleman in the back and then you over there, John, okay?
And George, if it's okay, I want to grab the contact for Excel Energy so that we can make sure that with folks are.
Okay, I just wanted to say that by you being here tonight, my guess is that Cole Stanley is still moving forward with the Smart City initiative. Is that correct?
No, we don't have a smart city initiative or agenda. Does that mean we're not going to use technology at all? No. I mean, we are going to use some technology, sure, but we don't have a smart city agenda.
Okay, because I'm going to piggyback. I don't know your name. I'm sorry, but I don't know your name, but I'm going to piggyback on what she's saying. Smart city is nothing more than just control over the citizens. It's going to limit their travel. It's going to limit what they can purchase. It can limit owning a car. It can limit everything. It can limit your electricity. It can limit your water. It can limit your trash. It can limit the number of pieces of clothing you can buy. It can limit the meat. If we switch over to a carbon-40 city, which is a big of a switch, which is also, as you were worried about, being connected to the federal government where it's one flick of a switch. It's all a flick of a switch. Once you get all these meters in place, and there was a mad rush to get them all in 2 months ago. Smart meter for the water meter, smart meter for the electricity, 5G poles starting to be activated, like the one over here, Sonsi and United, right there next to Panera Bread. They stuck up a 5G pole in the last few months. I spoke to the guy who was hooking it up, and he said they're going to be activating it soon. That one on 34th Street and Coulter, that tall pole with the flag on it, which is really not a flagpole, that's a 5G pole. And those things are highly dangerous. They can actually kill people. Now, the thing with a smart meter, okay, it also produces what's known as dirty electricity. And that runs it through your house, and that's designed to trash all your electronics. And it can also burn your house down at any given time. The problem with it, and what it does is it actually uses your circuit breaker panel as an antenna to produce radiation throughout the house. Anything that's in your house that's smart, such as your microwave, your oven, they all produce radiation. So if you're worried about things producing radiation, check your phone, check your microwave, check even your TV remote controls produce EMF. And then your TVs, which monitor you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with that little red light is on. And that TV, when you shut that TV off, it's still monitoring you. It's monitoring you physically and it's monitoring your sound. I gotta tell you that your Wi-Fi, that's monitoring your movement inside the house. The LED lights up there that screw in like this and that are LED, those are listening to you and they're actually monitoring your movements throughout the house. And it's all recording it back to the smart meter. That is why there is a rush to get that smart meter put on your house. Is that to be able to monitor everything that's going on in your house, everything that you do, and the whole 9 yards. And if you use more electricity than your neighbor, they're going to limit you. They're going to knock on your door, put a note to your door, and say, "Listen, you're using more electricity than everybody else. You got to curtail it because we got to save the planet." And that's the direction we're headed. The same thing as you're saying that the federal government is giving us free stuff, that bus terminal station. The only reason why they're putting in that bus terminal station, because we really don't need it, is so that they can monitor the coming and going of people. Those LED lights, they monitor everything. They can hear what you're saying. They can see what you're doing. They can record your cell phone. those cell phones that everybody has, that tracks everything, including stuff when people take a vaccine, it'll actually track the vaccines. Those LED lights can actually track vaccines through your cell phone. So can the 5G poles. All this stuff, and then of course the grocery stores are gonna make them fully automated, where they're not even have clerks anymore. You have to scan in with a QR code to get in these things. And if you don't think we're heading that direction, I got another news flash for you. We just came from Miami, Florida, and they're head on the heels to get to that destination point. They're all, I don't care if you're on one side of the fence politically or the other side of the fence politically, they're all pushing us in that exact same direction. And you have to get rid of everything in your house that's considered smart. And if you don't, get lead shielding to put over the top of it. And so you can stop it, because your gas meter is sending a reading on the gas in your house every hour on the hour. Now, why would they need that when you can only use it for 1 hour? What they're doing is they're selling all your data to third parties all over the place, all over the world, and people are buying and collecting all the smart data that they're collecting. Your car is spying on you. If you hook your phone up to your car, same thing. It's recording, it's actually sucking all the information out of your phone into the car and transmitting it. The Nissans are the worst, but all the cars, they track everything you say, whether you're inside the car, outside the car, they track you through your car cameras, they can hack into them, everything, they can see everything. So I'm telling you, if you got something smart, or get rid of it, because it's producing EMF and radiation. And then, like I said, the smart meters, you can opt out, 166, $16 a month, but I can tell you your energy bill will go down because those smart meters are burning electricity to transmit all the data and the information out of your house to the third party. And that's how they do it. Thank you.
It's already in California, it's already in New York, it's already in Ohio. This is not a farm.
So we have one last question before I get to John over here. So Rich, I appreciate you coming tonight.
Happy to.
If we get to that space, if we get to that area, what are we gonna be able to do to revert? I mean, are we gonna be pretty much just held hostage? I mean, are we putting systems in place to revert just in case? I mean,
It comes down to local control. I mean, it really does, because in order for that vision to happen, from a technology standpoint, from a technology, I do the technology. I'm not political. I don't know, like, that's just not me. I'm a technical guy. I've been building IT systems for 30 years. In order to do that, that means that a central agency has to have ownership of the applications at all of these companies. So it also means that they have to be in my data center, right?
Yeah, but when you're gone, who's gonna stop it?
That would have to be council. They would have to actually.
And when the
approve it.
county's gonna get their funding and stuff, and to do their agendas, and we're all, our language, but we're all screwed.
Well, at that point, I'll be gone. Because if we reach the point that.
I don't think it's that far away.
so we have one last question, guys. And
Well, I'm not seeing it yet here. I can tell you that. Nobody's got access to our data right
It's
now.
all over the internet.
hey, guys,
It's
so,
not.
Yes, it is.
It's not all through the internet. Some of it is, I know. because
How do
I
I
know where it's
know?
Hey,
coming
Rich,
How does it?
if you could leave me your email and I'll make sure and get it to these folks. Because as I said, on the agenda items, I mean, we'll send you all these questions and, I mean, I'm sure you'll field them just fine. You've always been pretty transparent with me, so
from.
I think that's it, guys. It's already past 8. And, I really appreciate you guys coming out tonight. And we're gonna have more of these
Wait.
workshops. Yes, ma'am. Oh, yeah, we got the petition. John, thank you. And have Misty coming up to talk about the petition. Wait, 1 second. Let's give Misty a chance to.
Hey, before he leaves,
Before
he leaves, I know we were beating up on him. So, thank you.
Right.
And I don't want people to not come talk to us, because I think it's important for them to talk to us. And I really appreciate it.
I'm happy to. And I'll tell you what I know. Like, I live here. I
Yeah.
grew up here. I went to the Maverick Club. This is my home. I could live anywhere. I chose here because I love the people and I love our community.
We
So,
just want you to take our concerns.
I am. I take, I absolutely
And that
will.
we're not gonna put up with.
Okay, before you leave, that's exactly what I wanted to talk to you about, and I really appreciate you having this. And the reason why, I know we're all upset, but I don't want them to not communicate with us. Okay? This right here is a petition that I have created. This petition is so that we will not move forward with any smart city stuff.
Good.
Okay? So I need you to sign it before you leave, and then I will present it to the city council. And I don't disagree with technology. I want you to understand that.
Right.
But I do disagree with technology that doesn't control us.
Yes.
Okay?
Or fry us.
So if there's a way to have technology, sorry, I'm sorry. If there's a way to have technology that doesn't control us, that benefits us, that would be great.
Yeah.
And if he can create something like that, then let's work with the man. You know what I'm saying? So.
We weren't really just picking on you, I understand.
No, that is my goal. That is
Okay, but
absolutely
yeah,
my
we just
goal.
want you to take
Is there
our
going to get us
concerns
picked
back.
on?
I don't think I'll use that as a goal.
We appreciate you taking us, okay?
This petition says that you don't want smart city technology in the city, okay? Please sign it, and I will give it to them. And I think they know the difference between what was done and what they want to do. And I don't feel like they're trying to move in that direction. I can't prove that, I'm just telling you what I believe, okay? And I do feel like he was trying to be transparent with us, okay? So, I'm gonna put this over there and y'all can all sign it.
This is for, I'm sorry.
This is for the city council and the mayor. He kept telling y'all that the city council and the mayor are the ones that vote on it. This is a petition for them, okay?
To redo it.
Correct. Well, not to redo it, to not move forward with city, smart city technology, okay?
I just want to add, you may want to include a notice of liability served to the mayor and all the staff.
Well,
And I have-
y'all can read the petition if you don't necessarily agree with it. You're more than welcome to build another one and I'll present it.
I have
Okay.
a copy of the notice of liability,
Okay.
and we can serve the mayor and all the staff.
Well, all this petition is just not to move forward with smart city technology. And you're more than welcome to read it. It's not hard to read. It's very simple. Okay?
He mentioned that he's not talking, the city's not talking smart city, they're talking a digital rights agenda.
Right.
So how is that petition addressing what Rich is calling the city? We have to have their verbiage to be complaining.
I understand that.
Complaining against his statement or?
I don't necessarily disagree with a different direction. What I disagree, that's why I'm explaining it to y'all. I disagree with smart city technology.
Right.
Okay? And that's what this petition is about. That's what this petition is addressing.
But how does that define anything for what he's talking about?
It won't be because it's different.
Are you submitted to the city?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay?
Once again, guys, thank y'all for coming. Let's end in prayer real quick, okay? I think that's very, very important. Dear Father in heaven, we love you so much. We're so thankful for tonight. We just want to be able to exercise discernment through your word, Father. And I know that the gentleman that was here tonight, Rich,
Amen.
We just speak peace over him and his family, Lord Father. I'm thankful that he came out. He didn't have to, but he did. And I pray for our city council, for our mayor. We understand that these are things that were implemented before. And I'm just so thankful for Cole Stanley. I know that he's going to be leading us in the right direction. Thankful for the city council that we have now.
Amen.
And I just speak peace over everyone here tonight. Thank y'all for coming. And in Jesus' mighty name we pray.
Amen.
Thank you, Rich, for coming. Thank you.
Yeah, give him a big hand, guys.